Good morning and welcome to On the Wrong Lead presents Saratoga Daily. I am Mark and we are talking a little bit of September Saratoga racing. Today's Wednesday. We kick off the final week of the Saratoga meet. But before we get into this card, let's talk a little bit about what the rest of the On the Wrong Lead team has going on. Josh is doing a bunch of podcasts. We have different guests who are going to be hopping in and covering one race on either the Friday or Saturday Churchill Downs card. Obviously, you have Kentucky Derby on Saturday, Kentucky Oaks on Friday. Both of those cards are just absolutely stacked and phenomenally good cards. So we're covering it that way. We're also going to do two different live streams this week. We're going to cover all the stakes races as a team on Thursday for the Oaks on Friday, and on Friday for the Derby card on Saturday. In addition, we have a bunch of, last week at Saratoga, a bunch of great racing going on, and also Del Mar is running. So it's this week is probably the best week of the year if you're a horse player and you want to pick and choose your spots. Obviously, Breeders' Cup will have very good, very high level racing, but what we're seeing right now is pretty stellar. Everything you could ever want is going on this week, and also just for Capone, I'm wearing my Jonathan Kinchin starter kit shirt today, so I figured that would make him happy. But we saw overnight we got a lot of rain that we were not expecting to get. They were talking about showers throughout the day and maybe a chance early. We got quite a bit of rain, so everything came off at Saratoga. Everything is on the dirt today, and I was struggling a little bit to find a sequence that I really loved, and I sort of settled on the 7, 8, 9 sequence. What end with the stakes race, with anticipation, is normally one of my favorite races of the year, just because it's a race that's produced a ton of really good horses over the years. And it's really interesting to see a lot of these horses the first time, the fillies the first time they get some real good company, and you get to see how these sort of rivalries develop that carry on throughout their careers. So I'm starting here with a pick 3 in race 7. And this race obviously scratched down quite terribly, as most of the races on this late card did, but there was an MTO in here on Righteous, the one horse. Todd Pletcher trained. I don't remember who's getting up here. I would imagine somebody with the last name Ortiz. And this horse makes a ton of sense in this spot, but I think this horse gets really overbet, being the one MTO in here. And I have a feeling that some of the others in here who I think have a chance get left a little odds-wise. The one I think is your most likely winner. The other horse in here that I really liked quite a lot was Bluegrass Parkway. This is a horse with a 438 Wet Tomlinson, which is extremely good. Horse should handle the off-going. Has never had a chance to yet. You're not going to get 6-1 here. You're going to get maybe 3-1, maybe. But I think a lot of the horizontal money that's chasing the doubles and pick 3s is going to go try to single the one here and get a little cute. The other thing I will say is that at Saratoga, at any track, but specifically at Saratoga, when you have these really short fields, pace gets wonky. I don't know if there's a clear set front runner in this race. I would think it's probably Unrighteous ends up being on the lead here, but you're not going to be able to walk the dog because Cowtown and Willing to Speed have a little bit of speed as well. The one that, if you're a Tomlinson's person, jumps out at you is Cowtown. This is sort of what I want to call maybe a deceptive Tomlinson's horse. The horse has on paper looks like the type of horse, if you're a Tomlinson's person, that you want to really get behind. My issue is these 3 seconds on the off-going. Never really gets it done. The figures got a lot better on this one when they moved back to the turf, or moved to the turf, I should say. This is the other Pletcher in the race. Probably needs a little bit of a setup. Maybe can be good enough here, but I want that. I think I want others. Probably gets overbet on those Tomlinsons, if anything. So the horses that are the 2 inside ones are the ones that I really want the most of. So I'm playing a structure like this. I'm going to use the 1 and the 3 as A's. I'll pay. I have. When I look at off-track form, I like to find the horse that hasn't proven that they can't do it yet. So that's the 3. And Unrighteous is kind of the logical. I think you're going to get a lot better price on Bluegrass Parkway. I don't know what that ends up being, but those are the two I want. And then I'm going to buy the races C's. I'll buy both Cowtown and Willing to Speed. They're not going to be anywhere near the morning line odds here, but both of them could win this. I don't think this is as much of an overlay as the odds are probably going to show it as. So moving on to the 8th, we're seeing an optional 40 here. Freaky Styley, the 1, is a horse I have a soft spot for, and I didn't really know what to do with him in here. He's got a lot of speed. Rosario's getting up for George Abreu, another one of those trainers who's having a very good meet. Works were phenomenal on this horse. The thing is, he's never caught an off-going track before. I don't know if he necessarily will love it. He's won his last 2. Philo has made an Aqueduct, but hasn't been seen since February. He's a horse that last year at Saratoga really freaked on a dead rail, and that's why I added him to my stable. And Rosario did real well with him, but it took a while for him to kind of punch that maiden card. He's interesting in here, although he's not my top pick. My top pick is going to be, probably no surprise, is going to be Control Group. Orlando Noda has been having an absolutely stellar meet. Everybody is sort of feels that is very suspect. I completely agree, but this horse does fit what you want an off-track going. Tomlinson figures aren't huge, but the horse is 6'11" on an off-track. Towers over these other ones in here on what he's done on an off-track. You'll have to play the track by, race by race towards the late. I have a feeling that this will start drying, but they're calling for showers potentially late. So see how the track's playing. If this is moving, I don't think it moves Control Group around, but I would chase Tomlinson's a little bit less if you start seeing the track drying a little bit. And the other two that I wanted in here as Bs were both Evaluator and Our Last Buck. Neither one of these two are horses that jump off the page at you at Tomlinson's, but they've both been successful on off tracks or done well. Evaluator had the second place running. If you look at this, ran an 82 figure. If we go back here and we look at Control Group I would imagine will be very, very, very short in here. Look at some of his, here's a slop race where he ran a 67 and he ran a 78 in that next race out in the good track. I don't think Evaluator necessarily, I don't think there's any reason to doubt that Evaluator could. You may just really like the off-going. Didn't win that race. I do definitely move up horses that have won on the off-going. He probably needs a pace setup, but he's a horse that I like quite a bit in here. Control Group is your obvious speed of the speed as well, but might set up somebody like Evaluator as Control Group is. I almost think is one of those. He may need the lead, and he's a bit of a one-run style horse. As long as Luis Saez can keep Evaluator a little close and he doesn't have way too much to do coming home, could be a super interesting price. I think Our Last Buck is also also super interesting in here. I just want to make sure I had that. Yeah, 4 and 5. Our Last Buck in here is also super interesting. It does have a win on the off-going. He's only 1 for 5 on the off-going, but if you look at these, he hasn't been disgraced. That win with Manny up, but you're seeing, he's second. He's running, he's near the lead. He's running decent competitive figures. I think 8 to 5 is way too short on him in here, and that's sort of a B on a price, almost a price fade B. I like Control Group a lot more than I like Our Last Buck. And, in the 1C that I used, I did use Freaky Styley in here. I think Freaky Styley is a horse that maybe he really handles the off-going. The works have been really good, and we haven't seen him since February. He has every right to move forward, and he probably gets lost on the board a little here. I wish somebody like a Cancel or somebody like that was up on him. With Rosario up, he'll probably take some money as this is a bit of a hat tip that this one's probably ready to go here. But I think Freaky Styley is sort of interesting. So I played that race. I have Control Group as my lone A. I have the 4 and the 5 as Bs, and I have the 1 as a C. Next race in here is the feature, the With Anticipation, which and by the way, I think I said this was a filly race. I don't know why I said that. This is not. This is just for a 2-year-old restricted, and this is normally a mile and a 16th, I think, on the turf. It's going to being 7 furlongs on the main. And I think Blame the Booze, the one here, makes a ton of sense. This horse did break its maiden, on a sloppy track back in the early part of July. You're getting Sayers, obviously Manny's in Kentucky, but I don't think that the Sayers factor really bothers me here for Wes Ward. This one makes a ton of sense. It runs back to that last race. Probably is very, 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 very tough in here. And obviously has handled the off-going. We see those big wet Tomlinsons, which is the horse's one win. I have a hard time getting away from that horse. I want the rest of the field though as C's, because a lot of these you don't really know. Fire Will on the outside, I was super interested in coming back if this stayed on the turf. It obviously didn't, but Maker could have scratched this one and shipped him to Kentucky and tried to find a race at Churchill or something. Keeps him here. So to me, that's makes this one a little bit interesting. Obviously, Gaff is in Kentucky as well, and then neither of the other two. The Pletcher Win From Within is a horse with larger Brett Tomlinson, should handle the offgoing quite well. A lot of early positional speed on the four as well. A horse that maybe gets lost on the board a little bit. Obviously, it's a 4-horse race. I don't know how much anybody gets lost on the board. And even the Durham Magner horse makes some sense. All these horses have tried, well, with the exception of the 5, have tried dirt. So it's not like there's anyone here that there's a big question mark. We know they at least handle it well enough. I want most of my money going through Blame the Booze, but the other 3 are super logical. So I'm playing with the structure. And I think this is where we talk about days like today, and everybody goes, oh, well, this is probably going to be a chalk fest. Well, probably will. I think most of the favorites win these races. How do you leverage up those opinions, though? So on a $100 base bet, or a $100 ticket structure bet, I am really getting skinny on my A's, but then I have B's and C's in place that I can catch a price. Really, this B, because I only have a single B, is just a way of making that bet size a little bit larger than my C's, and this pays if I can catch a C. I'm effectively hoping that I catch a C. If this goes all A's, I have a lot of leverage. The ticket probably breaks even. The pick 3 probably pays $10 or $12. If I catch I catch one of these C's in this ticket, this could pay pretty well. You might get a $300 or $400 payout here, because so much of that money is going to try to single these. And with a little ABC structure, I can put a structure in place on a shorter sequence like this where I can price catch. Best options obviously to price catch would be to catch a C in the first or the second legs. Those are the C's that I think will pay. You catch a C with anticipation. I think people may have spread a little bit wider there, just assuming a lot of these are likely to take a step forward. I'll keep this one a little bit short. Obviously smaller field sizes today with all the scratches. It would have been a great day if these hadn't come off the turf. Tune in, check out some of our other content. We're going to have Derby content. We're going to have Oaks content, both in podcast and in live stream form. You'll get everybody together. 2 nights of live streaming this week, which should be a lot of fun. And I'm also going to try to write a couple of blog articles. Maybe I'll pick a race out of the Churchill card and try to work on them. And because of all the Churchill stuff, probably Saratoga Daily is the only way that you're going to see some of the stake stuff covered by the On the Rod lead team. So my idea here is that I will kind of pivot this Saratoga Daily into covering some more of the stakes action. So instead of I'll probably do pick 3s, I'll probably do some plays that I like, but I'll probably also be looking to really focus in on the stakes races for the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday cards, so that we make sure that we have those covered. But if you like this content, please like and subscribe, and until next time, good luck at the races.